Welcome to another episode of I Need a Session. I'm Kim Wilson, your host. Before we go any further, let's do a checkpoint with my earrings. Yes, they are my love earrings. I am a huge believer in love. I believe love wins. If this is your first time joining us, this show is all about self-empowerment. I created a safe space for people to share their stories. I personally believe that every human being has a story that is connected to the healing, the growth, the development of another human being. At any given time, we have probably 100 stories inside of us. So we get to choose which one we will tell. Tonight, I have a wonderful show lined up for you. My special guest is professional dancer Keith Reeves. Oh my goodness, this is an amazing gem. He's leading us off tonight in what I call my music and art therapy combined. He brings the art with his movement and is sitting right on top of some amazing music. Leading us off tonight, Keith Reeves with a performance titled Free Dreams. Enjoy.
I am the morning dew in a field of grass. I am the notes of an oak-aged cabernet. I am heard in a young child's laugh. I am the sunshine warm upon your skin. I am you. I am everything. I am me.
Meet Keith Reeves, a professional dancer and company member of the Atlanta Ballet. He is a native of Augusta, Georgia. Keith began his training at age 15 with Jennifer Tools at the Jesse Norman School of the Arts. He has performed works by John McFall, George Balanchine, Jordan Morris, Yuri Posakov, and many others. Keith's passion for dance is evident in his commitment to Bodies in Motion ATL, an organization created in the midst of COVID-19 with a focus to keep dance in Atlanta. The pandemic has not stopped this powerhouse from moving. He recently landed a spot in InStyle magazine, the March edition 2021. Be sure to check it out. Keep your eye on Keith Reeves because this amazing gem is destined to dance on many stages across the world. Please welcome Keith Reeves.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on, honey. We got to start with that hot performance, Free Dreams. I just want to go right there. Did you title that, or what did that title come from?
Actually, Christian Barnell, the cinematographer, came up with the title of the video, but we all collaborated on bringing that video together.
So Christian Bartel, I take it he's well known in the film industry, in the cinematography industry.
Yeah, he does right now, he does a lot of things with Nike, a lot of things for different brands. He's very brand focused. So what we were trying to do is initially create a Nike commercial. And he actually reached out to me through Instagram and was just like, I want to know a little bit more about your story because I'm working on a Nike ad that I feel like you would be great for. So we talked on the phone a little bit and he got to know me a little bit more. And then we created a whole storyline behind what I wanted to go for this piece.
So a couple things just loaded into that. So you're telling me you got this wonderful opportunity. Somebody saw you on Instagram. They liked your work and was like, hello.
Yeah.
Whoa. See,
Look at God.
Okay, look at him. Won't he do it? Can he do it? I mean, I'm always talking about relationships because I believe that, how we grow and go to the next level is through relationships. So now you are partnered with this person who is connected to other great brands, and now you are connected. So in this performance that you put together, that you all collaborated on, Free Dreams, what is the message that you wanted the viewers to walk away with?
Initially, I wanted to show that no matter what background you come from, anybody can do anything. And also, I just feel like there's like a stigma of like this idea of a Black man. And I just wanted to show that there are different variations of Black men out there. And I feel like this is a very great representation, like the cinematic video that we get to see that also includes dance and another dancer from Canada, Keaton Lear, who's also a dancer at the Atlanta Ballet. I feel like it just reflects where we are in our day and time, you know?
By the time I got to the end of the piece and you were holding hands with another male dancer, what I felt was I am who I am without apology and without permission. And I thought, yes, honey, bring all of that, because sometimes I think it's hard to stand in your truth, and you are you're youth, you're young. And sometimes people, they make it to 40 and 50 and they are not there. They don't feel free to be. And that's what I liked about the performance.
No, I completely agree with that. But I feel like everybody, we are always ever changing, and we are always growing as people. And coming out is just different for everybody. There shouldn't be like a certain time limit of when a person comes out, as long as they come out. And I don't feel like people should force people to come out, because it's I don't know, that's a personal thing. For a situation with me and my mom and I. So my mom and I, when I told her that I was gay and we had our little situation and our like conversation, she was just like, I already know that. Like, I already, like, we've been there. We already figured that out. Like, and I still love you no matter what. So you never take yourself for granted or feel down about being gay either. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's like another word I like to use, or like two words I like to use, like safe space. I feel like if parents give children a safe space to be able to figure out who they are, then we'll have more people able to come out and able to be real with their parents and know that everything's universal, and your parents have gone through the same things that you go through, and you might not feel that way, but we should all listen. You know what I mean? We can learn from everybody.
When parents give their children a safe space, that's the very thing that makes a difference, because safe space is also another name for support. And I personally believe when you feel supported and you have support, you can do anything in this world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost like giving a plant time to grow and flourish, and you're not messing with that plant too much. You know what I mean? Once the birds come and pick at it, it's destructed a little bit. There's like, it's messed up or something's wrong with it. But once you like give that plant time to grow and like give it water and nutrients and love, and also discipline, like stay in your area, but you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But keep growing and evolving. You know, I feel like that's what it's all about.
Everyone was first introduced to you. Actually, my very first episode, honey, you opened the show, as with Dream in Process. And so everyone saw you first. I want to go inside that story a little bit, how you got up on those toes, honey, how you became that wonderful, amazing dancer. Take me there. How did you, become this amazing dancer? Where did that start?
I've always loved dance and performing. Like when I was younger, I used to watch videos of Michael Jackson on MTV. And my grandma used to watch videos of Tina Turner and like all of these great performers. So I always knew that that was something I wanted to go into. But it wasn't until I learned about Jessie Norman, who's a famous soprano opera singer, who's also African-American from Augusta, Georgia. She was just from the same area that I was from. And I met this woman and she had such class and grace, and like she had been all around the world. And she had done all of these things that I didn't know that Black people were capable of, because I was so stuck in the mindset that I had to go into athletics or be like a doctor. I didn't know that this classical art form or these classical art forms were accessible to me. So once I met her, I was like, okay, like, let's figure out what it is that I actually like. So my mom really couldn't afford to put me in dance classes when I was younger. So I went to go see the Augusta Ballet through my middle school or my elementary school, and they were just having an exchange program with the Arts Council in Augusta. So I went to go see the Augusta Ballet. And once I saw that, it really opened my eyes. And I was like, oh my God, people get to perform in like live audiences, and like you getting to create a character, and just like the athleticism of dance. So once I like saw that, I was like, Mom, I really want to do this, but she just didn't have the money for it. And then once I got into middle school around 6th or 7th grade, she found out about this after school arts program that was actually ran by the opera singer that I was talking about earlier, Jesse Norman. And it was for inner city kids who didn't have the means or weren't able to attend like classical lessons, and didn't know that, kids that didn't know that that was accessible to them, like me. So once I got there, I really dove into art. We learned drama, we learned opera, we had vocal lessons every day. It was just a great immersive experience. And we had drama, we had improv classes, just everything. I don't know. They did their best to like really teach us everything under the rainbow. So if we did want to pursue this as a job or go into this in the future, we knew what we were talking about, or we at least had the history or the knowledge of it. So that was great. And then they needed guys for their dance classes. And I was like, I don't know about this. But then I just also was so nervous because I wanted to do those things and I hadn't had the chance to really dive into that. So it's just like, am I going to make a fool of myself? And then once I got into the dance classes, I loved it. And ever since then, I was just like obsessed with it.
So one of my favorite quotes by Dr. Maya Angelou, she said, when you learn, you must teach. So honey, you just taught somebody out there something, because everybody did not know who Jesse Norman was until you just name dropped it. And yeah. And so one of the conversations that's been going on over the past couple of years, well, over the past year, especially when Michelle Obama dropped her book and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris became vice president, was being able to see, whoa.
Come on, let's get it.
Yes, yes. The part of the conversation has been being able to see yourself. And in what Michelle Obama was saying, there were times she just did not see herself. And one of the very reasons why I wanted to do this show, this talk show, is to create a safe space so people can share their stories and their narratives. You just shared a story with a person named Jesse Norman. Now somebody can take that name, look them up, and then look at you as well and say, and I can see a grandmother, a mom, a father say, listen, I want you to come look at this man. Come look at him. Look, let's listen to him talk. Look at it. Go to his Instagram. Because they can see themselves in you. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. So, at what point did you say, this is it, I want to be a dancer?
Miss Norman came down to do a fundraiser and my cousin was involved in it. So after the fundraiser, I actually got to speak to Miss Norman a little bit more. And she's actually from the same exact neighborhood that I'm from, which is really cool. So I got to talk to her, and I just told her that I really love ballet, and I had just started finding out about summer intensive programs. And I was like, Miss Norman, like, I really want to go to the summer intensive program. Like, it can really help elevate my technique. And just like, I was like, please, 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 is there any way that we can make this possible? And like, my cousin had already talked to her. She was just like, it's already in the works, love. And then by that summer, I had a full scholarship to Joffrey Ballet School. And then I went to the Joffrey Ballet School for a summer. And that was when I just like really got to immerse myself in dance, because I had never been in a situation where I was around. I mean, with Jesse Norman, I got to be around more kids that were involved in the arts, but with me being able to go to Joffrey Ballet School, I got to meet more kids who wanted to become ballet dancers. So like it was even more of a niche and more of an intimate community, because all of these people were interested in the same thing that I was interested in. So that really opened my eyes. And then finding out that you can get paid and like all of these things. And like once I got back home, I was like, Mom, like I have to become a ballet dancer. Like you can get paid to do this. Like I would be able to get a job. I just have to go audition. And I was like telling her all the things that I learned from the summer intensive. She was just like, hold your horses. Like, I don't know if that's possible. You need to go to school and like you need to really dive into the books and really get things like that done. And I was like, okay. And before that, I was thinking about going to either SCAD or Kennesaw State University, but I was really thinking about going to SCAD because I scored really well on my AP art exam, and I was really interested in working with different textiles. And like my senior project was turning unconventional things into conventional clothing. So I was like all about that for a hot second. And my mom was really about that because she thought that that was something that I could like dive into more, and also like go into like more of a corporate idea of business and like fashion merchandising. And like she thought that was more of a safer bet than going to like this whole career where my body is involved and like maintaining my body, and like this is my paycheck. You know what I mean? Mm. So if I get hurt, like I'm not gonna be able to maintain what I love and do what I love or work, you know what I mean, or make money. So she was really nervous about that. But my senior year, I got a full scholarship to Nashville Ballet, and I got a contract with their second company. And she let me go do that for the summer. And then I wasn't able to stay because financially they weren't paying enough. And I didn't have parents that could like pay for my things. And also while them giving us like a 6-hour like work day, you know what I mean? So that was challenging. And then so I was kind of in a rut for a little bit. And then I met a dancer from Atlanta Ballet, and they told me to go to their like conservatory program, which was like a college preparatory program. And I was like, okay, like listen to this, Mom. I can get all of these. I can get everything that I need to do. Like I can go to college and dance at the same time. So she was more excited about that. And so after I took that first year to like figure out what I wanted to do and like figure out if I wanted to go into like that company situation or go to school for fashion merchandising or whatever I wanted to do. I don't know, like it was a bit of like a dark time for me because I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it into the dance world, and like because I had started so late.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to be possible for me to like, you know, like get that to that next step, like getting into a company and doing those things, because I was about 18 at the time. So somebody told me about their conservatory program, and I went there, and then I like fully immersed myself into just everything contemporary, whatever Atlanta Ballet had to offer.
I don't want people to miss something that you said early on when you said to Miss Norman, how can we make this possible? And that's all about asking for what you want. A lot of times people get stuck in life because they do not know how to ask for what they want. And I don't want
and that's the thing. I didn't know how to do that. I had to talk to my cousin about it. And I was talking to her about like the summer program that I really wanted to go to. And she was just like, well, ask Miss Norman. And I just thought that was like, no, that's way too much. Like, you know what I mean? And it had come to be that the directors of the school and like my cousin had talked about it, and they had already talked to her about it before I had even stepped into that. So me just asking her was just something that I don't know, they were pushing me to do, because once I went and talked to her and I said, Miss Norman, I would really like to do this. Is there any way possible that this could happen? And she told me it was already in the works.
So I'm just going to pivot just a little bit. So I'm an 80s baby. Okay. I grew up in the 80s, and the first person that stood out in my mind, the male dancer that I remember seeing, was on this show called Fame. And the character was named Leroy.
Leroy. I remember Leroy from Fame. And then they did the TV show with Debbie Allen.
Yes. And fast forward, later on, I got introduced to Avenali, when my aunt introduced me to the arts, and we would go see the Avenali show every year. And I developed a love for that. So I do know, just even growing up as a little girl in the 80s, when I think about my dance troupe in my elementary school, there was one boy in the dance troupe, one boy. But the thing is, people were kind to him because his mom was always at the school. But what I do know, outside of school, it was common for people to try to push boys towards sports instead of, if you had a desire for dance, if you had a desire for cooking, if you had there was some resistance there. Did you feel that, just kind of coming through, as a young child, as a teenager, some of that resistance?
Yeah, like, especially because on my father's side, I'm his only boy. So he really wanted to immerse me into the sports and everything. And when I was younger, like, I did those things because I wanted to please my dad and, like, please my uncle. And my uncle was a football player as well. And right out of high school, he went to go play professionally. So there was always that, like, you need to do something athletic behind it. And my uncle did take me on the field, and I played flag football, and basketball. I hated basketball, but I love football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit, we get inside 2020, the pandemic hits. That's your career, that's what you do, you perform, and they started shutting things down. What did life look like for you in 2020 once the pandemic came in? How did that impact you as far as, like, performing as a dancer?
At first, it was hard because our company didn't know how to handle COVID-19. So we tried to keep rehearsing, but it wasn't feasible for us to do. So we stopped, and we didn't really start back until this August. But that whole time we weren't really doing anything. So I did go into, like, a little bit of depression because I wasn't moving and doing the things that I loved. But it wasn't until I started, like, playing with, like, cameras and, like, cinematography and, like, choreographing, I started to get my, like, game back and my pep and my step. You know what I mean? So It was really challenging. It was really challenging, especially, I mean, at first I was like, oh my God, I hate this. And then I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. And then I was like, okay, this is taking too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I just had to, like, get up and start making things happen for myself,
There it is again. I want to make sure that our viewers do not miss that nugget. Depression, whether we feel sad, angry, all of those are real emotions. But one of the things that stood out for me is just the intentionality behind moving forward, doing something. What stood out for me is when you said I started doing choreography, cinematography. Nobody is just one thing or anything. There's always so many layers to us. And so just knowing that there is always something more inside of us, and we have the power to tap inside of that. I do remember seeing a performance that you gave online over the summertime, and it was so wonderful because there was an artist next to you sketching your moves. I thought, wow. And it was connected to, like, a benefit, like a fundraiser.
Yeah, I was doing an Instagram live fundraiser for Lost and Found. And Lost and Found is a organization here in Atlanta that helps homeless LGBTQ children of youth, like transgender, anybody who is struggling and trying to transition out of like a bad situation or trying to transition out of being homeless. They help you find jobs and help you go to school. Just get all of those kids that don't have the support behind them to the next level, you know, and I'm all about that and I love that.
Yeah, fantastic. So now we are in 2021. What do you have going on? What's coming up for you?
Well, in 2020, I did a show that was live streamed, and we created like a 45-minute show, and it was outdoors and it was also online. Okay. We did like this whole projection area, and we had like a live performance going. And I'm starting to play with this idea of making like a small, like not a dance company, but just like a group of dancers that are innovative and want to create. And we're a very young group of dancers. We're called Bodies in Motion, and we're just now starting. So like going into 2021, we're gonna do another show called Organized Chaos, and we're really excited about that. Aside from that, like I'm choreographing on Atlanta Ballet right now, and I have a piece that will be premiering February 16th and 17th at the Rialto, but it'll be on PBS. And so I'm really excited about that. And this was a really cool project because I got to choreograph on some of my friends that I dance with, including like Jordan Leeper and Miguel Montoyo, like two great friends of mine. And I got to play with the music a little bit. My friend Peter took a track of me talking to my grandmother about our family history, and we laid that over some of the music. So that was a really cool project, and it's still in progress and still in process. So still working on that. And then I have a spread coming out in the March edition of InStyle magazine. So check that out.
Yes, honey, go ahead. Let them know.
And then you can also check me out for the month of February on Capizio's Instagram page, which is a dance clothing wear company here in America. And it's been around since like 1819, but the late 1800s. But it's a huge dance brand, and I'm starting to do more things with them. So like keep an eye out for that, because all of February I'm going to be interviewing dancers of color and choreographers of color, and I'll be doing warm-ups and a few different other things on there. So
this is just amazing. I don't want you all to miss the fact we didn't touch on that a whole lot, but he started late. You started training late. I mean, yeah. you don't just make it to the Atlanta Ballet by twiddling your thumbs. You don't just make it to Capizio by twiddling your thumbs and getting a spread in InStyle magazine. He did it. He did his work. He does his work. And that's excellence. I know without a doubt the world will know his name. Honey, he's going to dance on the stages all across this world. I see you, honey. I see you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. So, we are at our time. Listen, I'm going to have Keith back, if his schedule permits, because...
Of course. Anytime for you.
Oh, honey, I love it. Yes. Accepted and received. Well, thank you so much, you powerhouse. And if anybody has not told you today, let me be the first to tell you, you are simply amazing.
Thank you so much. So are you. And thank you so much for what you're doing with your platform. I love it.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Before you get out of here, please make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. Also, make sure you are on my email list by going to www.kimwilsonspeaks.com. And one last thing, look below for the links that lead to Keith Reeves. Well, I'll see you next Thursday at 8 o'clock. Onward, upward, and beyond.